easy to act nobly and to feel you are righteous when there is no trouble or difficulty for you to attend to ideate that God is everywhere, that Brahma is omniscient, is relatively easy when your mind is clear and when there are no difficulties. But when difficulties arise, physical problems, mental problems, spiritual problems, grief, loss, struggle of one form or another, then the mind, attempting to solve the problems, becomes so engaged in the problems that you forget all of your disciplines. You forget to really feel. You don't feel God is there. You don't feel the Parama Purusha is guiding you. You feel, why is God deserting me? Why am I struggling so much? Why are these difficulties happening to me? And you become very much the individual solving the problem. But it is at those times that the challenge remains to feel that the divine is in all things, in all situations, in all circumstance. When you see pain and suffering in the world, when you see cruelty and harshness, it affects you. Your heart becomes affected to see such pain in others, because you can imagine how hard it would be for you. This is empathy. This is the ability to know or to try to understand the feelings of another person, the struggles and the difficulties. And this empathy is a yogic ability to know the minds and hearts of others. That is a yogic ability, and it is foundational, because when you know the mind and heart of another, you have a sense of the essence of another, and you can place yourself in their place. When you see mistreatment of others, that alone can be a great challenge. And you may think, why? Why is this being allowed? If there is divine guidance, if there are divine forces, why is this not being stopped? Why is the grace of the infinite not coming and stopping all of this? Some people become so discouraged, they think there is no God. If there were a God, they would not allow these things to happen. Whether they be pain and suffering of others or your own pain and suffering, it can challenge your faith, your beliefs. And in a way that is very good, because you may hold false beliefs, but that there is a divinity underlying all worldly life, all that exists, that is a reality. And when the mind is covered in the pain and the sorrow and the difficulty of yourself or others, sometimes that reality becomes obscured, and then discouragement can set in. Feeling that you are alone in this world, there is nothing more than what is going on. Why are these things happening? Can you imagine to live in a war-torn country? Bombs going off, loved ones dead or dying. How difficult it must be, huh? Why do these things exist? This world is the play of light and dark, night and day, good and evil. It is the contrast that makes life in this stratum possible. The duality of life is both its richness and its bane. And when infinite consciousness embodies in your form, in the form of others, and merges into the senses, into the mind-body experience, then the belief comes that all of this that is seen and heard and felt is the reality, the only reality. You can become so involved that when it is good, it is enjoyable, but when it goes very badly, when strife and anguish come to you personally or through the society around you, it can be very difficult. The context of the social movements, the oppression, the wars, the authoritarianism, the abuses of power, the dominance of greedy and unethical men and women over ordinary people becomes hard to tolerate, especially if you are the victim of such people. Your mind can become filled with anger, rage, and helplessness. But this helpless anger, this want for revenge, does you no good and does others no good either. Neither does it help you to lose your faith that there is light, there is hope, there is love, and that there are higher forces guiding you, guiding the planet. That does not mean that the rage and selfishness, anger, greed does not dominate many people and does not make their decisions for them. They want power, control, money, they take. Then you must ask yourself, am I a taker? Do I follow in these ways of the people I despise? Or can I live in compassion, understanding, and empathic feeling for all living beings, even if I am feeling their pain, their suffering? Or do I turn my face away because I don't want to know, I don't want to feel all of that pain that is there in the world? Do you try to ignore it, to pretend it isn't there? As long as your life is good, what matter what happens to others? How much do you participate in this greed and power and anger that is so harming living beings on this planet? Death comes to all, that is a certainty. But oppression and harm does not need to come to any. So there is a struggle going on in the world today and in yourself, in each and every person. A struggle between the forces of light, which are that which keep empathy, love, kindness, compassion, and generosity in the front, and those of the dark, greed, power, revenge, harm, taking from others for yourself. These two forces struggle inside each and every person as well as play out in the human society. And the evolution of consciousness, the evolution from the struggle of survival as an animal being to divine consciousness, to love unconditional, is a struggle to move past these aggressive tendencies and to find the love in your heart, the love in your essence that is universal, compassionate. So when hard times come in the life, or hard times come around you in the society, how are you going to respond? To bury your head in the sand? Try to go about your life and pretend none of it is happening? To avoid, to deny, to become vengeful and aggressive, wanting to crush that which you perceive as harmful? Or do you become overwhelmed and passive, that you just watch harm and do nothing? As a human being, you have choices about how you respond to personal adversity and to adversity in society, in the world. You have choices, but Dharma does not lie in all directions of your choice. Dharma lies in one direction, to move from smallness, self-centeredness, to kindness, compassion, and love. Love for all beings, be they kind and loving or aggressive. However you judge them, can you love them? It doesn't mean that you should love their aggression or their ill actions, but even those lost in this type of action are the children of the infinite. Their nature is divine, being, consciousness, but merged into the body, mind, and the situation, they lose perspective. They think they can gain the heaven, the love, through their aggression, their prejudices, and their ill deeds, for they feel they're not ill, they are simply good deeds to help themselves or to help their people, and they ignore, they tune out, they try not to see the pain of others. Are you in this psychology? It is in all people. The question remains, what is your choice? How do you meet the day? How do you meet the moment? Are you able to love without limit, to feel compassion and kindness for all living beings, and to move with Dharma towards awakening consciousness, towards love, to make your actions out of love for living beings, not out of fear, to let compassion rule your heart, to bring your choices to the light, to remember the infinite nature of divine being is the way of Dharma. When you see harm, naturally you try to stop it, but not out of hate, out of love. When you wonder why is there so much darkness in the world, so much anger, so much hatred, so much cruelty, remember this is a world of contrasts. This is a world where you distinguish yourself as understanding truth and living by it. And you go life to life until that reality is established for you. The society, like the individual, moves generation to generation, finding the way from darkness to light, falling back again into the darkness, struggling to the light, struggling to find kindness, love, compassion, and caring for all beings. You may think, why? is today's world riddled with such intentions of harm, such greed, such power mongering? Has it not been going on for a very long time? But amid that tendency in human beings is the tendency of love, expansion, truth-seeking. And the society, through this dynamic flow, has moved, changed, gone forward. Today is a new day, a new beginning. Society, like you, like the individual, moves forward each and every day. But ages come and ages go, and there is a shift in consciousness. Consciousness evolves. Sometimes it is darkest before the dawn. Meet everything with love. Follow the path of Dharma. And the more people who do this, the more the society will change. The days of war may be upon us now, but the days when war will be no more are soon coming. This species is evolving, and change is a certainty. All right? Oops.